Hi everyone, it's Ashton, aka the Outspoken Oracle, and I'm back with another tarot reading for you. Please remember the tarot readings are for entertainment purposes only. Please just think of me as your bestie, giving you a little bit of advice. And as with advice from your bestie, you take some, you leave some. Please make sure that you are using your discernment. Not every single tarot reading is for you. Please just take what resonates and leave the rest. I have 2 more days of running my giveaway. So if you want to be for a free Zoom tarot reading session for me, valued at $120, if you want to be entered into that drawing for that tarot reading, please just comment on my video below and be subscribed, and I will pick a video and pick a comment for my video, and I will pick a winner for this 1-hour Zoom tarot reading session with me. That all being said, let's get into what this reading is about today. So this reading, I'm going to reference the fact that I had a dream yesterday where it was a house of my childhood best friend, Matt. That caused me to think a lot about Matt yesterday. And yesterday was one of those days where I was thinking about Matt, and it was like one of the first times in a very long time where I thought about him, and it did not make me break down into tears. Because, like I said, he was one of my best friends, and, you know, we met each other when we were 8 years old, and then, you know, he died very young, unfortunately. And, you know, in our early 20s, he died. And since then, though, I have heard him speaking to me, and for the longest time, I thought that I was going crazy until one time I had a medium tell me, like, hey, there's someone that's coming through to you, and like you hear their voice calling your name and speaking to you all the time, and it's a male, and he said like you were his best friend, and da 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 da. And I immediately knew it was Matt, and he was like, just know, like, you're not going crazy. You can actually, that's him talking to you. He is one of your angels. He's with you all the time, da da da. And I've always felt his presence around me. I just wasn't sure that I was going crazy or not, hearing his voice like very audibly clear calling out my name and stuff. But anyhow, with this, I have gotten to the point where I can very distinctly recognize when his energy is super close. I can very distinctly hear his voice when he's around, or when I need him, I can feel him close. And I have recognized that he is still with me regardless of him not being here on this physical plane. And I know that 110%, like nobody could make me more sure of anything else in my life. And with that all being said, this is like the first time where I'm like, I feel really good with him without him being here. And I'm sure of our connection regardless of if he's here or not. And then with that feeling, I went to sleep, and I had like a download. And with that download, okay, so this reading is going to be a twin flame reading. I honestly would prefer that if I'm going to do a love reading, they're not twin flame readings, but this apparently is what God wants me to do right now. But with this download, with this twin flame reading, I kind of have a little bit of the code cracked with this. So part of this journey, this twin flame journey, is to get to the point where you are going to be okay with or without your twin. Because as some of you guys who have been in relationships with your twin already, or have dated them even a little bit and then come apart, it has been gut-wrenching, and it's been very hard for you to do life without them around, or just made it very difficult for you to go on and not like, and feel like something's missing. I mean, everybody feels that way regardless if you've been with them or not, if you're just friends, co-workers, colleagues, whatever. But the whole aspect that is needed to happen is that you guys need to be good with or without them, but not only good with or without them, but good in your true, most authentic version of yourself with or without them. Whether they die, or they have to go away to prison, or they get sent away to war, or something like that. Spirit, God wants you to be okay without them, because you have to hold it down and maintain that same resonance of you guys being together without them around, which means that you are showing up authentically yourself without them around. Because the reason why you initially connected is because at first it was so easy to just be natural and your authentic self with this other person. And then things got too deep, right? But anyhow, so like that's part of it. But so from the feminine perspective, it's very easy for us to tap into the ethereal realm and for us to tap into our intuition and for us to be more authentic initially. And, you know, because we're a little bit different, a lot of us feminines compared to the rest of the world. And, but for the masculines, it's very difficult for them to tap into. And when I say feminine and masculine, it's just an energy, it's not a gender situation. For the masculines, it's very easy for them to tap into the material realm, like finances, things of that nature, whatever. And so, with that being said, on this journey to being able to find that balance in each of us, because if you think about the yin yang symbol, it is, there's always that little dot of each and each side. There's that little black dot on the white side and that little black dot on the black side, where it's like they each have a little bit of that in them. So it's like finding the balance within to be able to be good regardless. But it's like you have to be good at the true authentic version of yourself. And this includes, y'all, and I'm so sorry for this long talking preface, but it needs to be said. This includes being able to contact your person without them being around. Like I was saying with my friend Matt, I can hear him clearly. This means knowing that even if your friend were to cross over, even if your twin were to cross over, you would still have access to them and you would still be able to carry that resonance with you even if they have crossed over. Knowing that you guys have a strong telepathic bond, knowing that you guys know how to reach each other in the dream state, knowing this, that, whatever, being able to get to that place, but that involves both of you guys being on the same resonance with everything. All those things. You guys need to come into balance to where you guys would be fine without the other person, to where you can exist authentically. And that means, like, for somebody like me existing authentically would be me getting to the point where I can work for myself doing tarot, or work for myself doing, you know, herbalist stuff, or work for myself doing all these things that naturally resonate with me, but that don't compromise my integrity and don't compromise who I am and don't have me working for the man and being in resentment, but also help me to help other people, but also allow me to be financially secure within this place. And then, you know, in terms of like the telepathy thing, like, so in terms of the song, not gonna do a song on this reading, but I'm gonna do a song for the next reading. And the song that I'm gonna do for the next reading is like a song, Synchronicity, like a telepathic song that happened between me and my twin. And it's The Kill from 30 Seconds to Mars. So I'm gonna do, the next video is gonna be with that, but like legitimately the telepathic communication, being able to do that when you guys are apart, like, and you'll tell if you have experiences telepathic communication through simple things like me and my twin, like we showed up at a restaurant one time wearing matching outfits and there was another person there and I was like, oh, you didn't get the outfit memo? And then with the 30 Seconds to Mars song, like one time I messaged him and I was like, hey, this song's been in my head for the past 24 hours. I think it's for you, not for me. And to which he responded, oh yeah, I've listened to that song quite a few times over the past day and it keeps on showing up on my Instagram. Okay. And then another time when I messaged him, he was like, oh, I was just thinking about you and wondering how you were doing. And then you messaged me. Or like another time, I was feeling anxious about passports for something, and I never get anxious about passports. And he was like, that's so weird that you got anxious about that because I had a dream last night where like I had forgotten my passport, this, that, whatever. And so stuff like that, where like it's little bits of telepathy, where it's like it's enough to where like this is not a coincidence because these things don't happen with just everybody all the time. So these are the things I'm talking about. But the thing of it is that as your relationship gets stronger, the telepathy is going to happen more and more and more and more. But anyhow, getting to the point of being able to be good with or without your twin. This is a big code of what needs to happen before true everlasting union can happen. Because the thing of it is that if you're good with or without your twin, even if your twin crosses over, you guys are still going to stay connected. And so all that pain and heartache from past lives of losing each other is not going to exist any longer, because you guys are good without them, because you can still connect to them without them there, because you're going to know that they're going to be around. And that's why this telepathy is very important. My friend Matt is still very much with me. We still very much have a telepathic communication. He is very much with me. He guides me. He's with me all the time. And not just him, but also my grandfather. I know when my grandfather is around because I smell him, and he shows up smelling like tobacco and Old Spice. And I'm just like, hey, Papa, you know? And so, like, this is with everybody, that, like, it's just a general thing. Like, this can expand beyond your twin, but it's something that needs to be able to come into balance, where you're going to be good in the physical realm and in the ethereal realm, with or without your twin. And so this is a big code of coming into full connection with your twin. If you can get to the point where you're good with or without them, when I say that with or without them, I mean as a person, and not a like forget them sort of thing. It's like a no, I'm good without them because I know I can still connect to them regardless. Or I'm good without them because I know I can take care of myself and be who I need to be in this world authentically without them here to support me. If that makes sense. But anyhow, I'm going to pull some cards, and we're going to get into this. Sorry for that long talking intro, but I think that stuff needed to be said. Angels, guides, ancestors, please assist me with this reading. Please help to give me insight into the questions I seek answers to, protecting from any negative entities that might try to interfere on this reading and give me false information. Please speak truth and honesty to me through the cards. Give me insight at the highest good of everyone involved. And as always, thank you for showing up each and every day. All right, Spirit, what is the message that you have for the collective based on this downloaded insight that I received? What is this message that you have for the collective based on this downloaded insight that I received? What is this message for the collective that I have based on this downloaded insight that I received about twin flames? Please, Spirit. What is this message? So with this Ten of Swords in reverse, again, this is about like not having to have to feel that pain over and over and over and over again every lifetime if you guys have to lose each other. This is about releasing the pain of past lives that came about when you guys did lose each other. And so this is why this aspect is so important in terms of being good with or without them. And not just in words, oh, screw them, I'm good. Like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. And to be completely honest, like, I've been there, or I tried to be there for like 2.5 days, and I'm like, no, that was a lie. I don't know why I said that, because that's not the truth. Like, that's not where I'm at. Like, I will be good, but I'm not at that place, and I'm finally getting to that place because I am stepping into my own authentic truth and making money moves for myself. And I will be good, but I'm not there yet. But I know that I'm gonna be there. But this is about releasing that pain and knowing that, like, even if your person crosses over, that they're going to still be with you, and you won't have to feel that pain all over. Because part of the reason why this journey is so painful is because it involves all that built up pain of all your past lives coming with you into this current life of losing that person, of not fully connecting. Because I have a very sneaking suspicion that those of us that are on this twin flame journey, once we graduate this journey and we actually come into full embodiment and we figure out how to do the whole enchilada, we won't be back here. And I know that I don't plan on being back here, and so I know that this is the time that I get it right with my twin, but I'm still refining myself while he refines himself. And so, like, I'm not in any rush, because I know that, like, what's going to happen is going to all be in divine timing. But I know that, like, all that pain really does need to be released, and we all have to get to a place of being good with or without our twin, so that the pain doesn't come up again and we don't have to relive all that karma. Again, that's stepping into your authenticity, being good with or without them, in your authentic version of yourself. But the authentic version of yourself happens to resonate at a vibration that's fully of love, in which you have telepathic communication. You think about like babies, they can basically, like, their mom can figure out, oh, this is what so and so needs with just like looking at them. Or they'll mom will wake up right like a couple seconds before they start crying in the middle of the night because they know their baby's about to wake up, because like babies communicate on telepathic communication. Telepathic communication is a natural state of being. And if you think about it, you do have a little bit of telepathic communication with a lot of people in your life, or a few people in your life who you were super connected to, where you'll think about them and then they'll call you and things of that nature. But like, that's all about being your authentic self. That's all about just trusting that if you show up as yourself, that things are going to be right. You showing up as yourself is going to take away this pain that you keep on self-inflicting. When you show up authentically, then you don't create any more karma that you have to clear, because it's when you're not being your authentic self that karma starts to add on to your life that you then have to clear. And if you don't get it right in this life, then you have to get it right in another life. There has to be a sense of stability too. You have to be stable on all fronts, monetarily, physically, spiritually. All those things have to come into balance, and you have to be good with all of those things without your twin. Your twin doesn't want to be with you in the ethereal realm if they cross over and worried about how you're doing. Your twin wants to support you, but doesn't want to have to worry about you, because when your twin crosses over, they're going to be good and happy and have returned to love. So the stability needs to be there, but like each person needs to be able to have access to all these three keys and be good with all these three keys, so they can be good on their own and be stable on their own while still living authentically without their twin around. And so if you've been doing the work and you're like, well, why is my person not coming in? Then figure out like, well, what aspects of these three pillars, physical, mental, what did I say? Physical, mental, spiritual. What aspects of these three pillars am I missing out on that are not coming into balance for me? And try to figure that stuff out, and then make a list of the things that you need to work on. If you're like me, then you make mental lists. You don't actually put them down on paper, but you make mental lists of the things that you need to do, and you get at them after you are done procrastinating for a while. With this strength in reverse, it's like those of us on this twin flame journey are not weak people. None of us are weak, because we would have never gotten to this place of actually being in this. However, there is a weakness where we feel like we can't do things without our counterpart there, when that is the lie that is being told to us by the devil, by our minds, by our egos. And so we need to get rid of this weak mindset, because it doesn't exist. We are so capable of overcoming anything and everything that is put at us. And so the weakened mindset needs to go. There needs to be more accountability for what our actions are, and just consistency in doing those actions moving forward and strengthening those areas. And I know for me, my areas of weakness are like finances. And I know that I have to strengthen those areas, but I also need to stop telling myself this narrative that I am weak financially. Because I'm really not. Like, I'm so capable of making money, and I'm in the place where I'm making great money right now, and yet it's the budgeting that I need to work on. And so I need to figure out how to do that so I can be good on my own. It's not about the making money, it's about the budgeting. Because the thing of it is, there's people that don't make a lot of money at all, and yet they tend to have like great savings accounts because they know how to budget really well. And you say the word budget and I want to cry, because the thought of doing a budget just doesn't sit well with me. But part of that comes from just my all or nothing mentality in life, which is not great, but that has led to a place of weakness. In terms of the spiritual front, like, I'm rock solid and I got that. But I know that with my twin, he does not have that at all. the weekend that we met, the day after that we met, we had a conversation, and he was like, well, I don't even trust my intuition because my intuition has failed me in the past. Well, no, his intuition didn't fail him in the past. What probably happened is that he did not trust his intuition enough to follow through with things that had happened that seemed counterintuitive with what his intuition was bringing up, right? But he doesn't trust his intuition, and him not trusting his intuition, you know that his spiritual body is weak, or at least it was. I don't know where it's at right now, but at least his spiritual body was weak at that point. And another time we were talking about something about intuition, and he snapped at me. He's like, it doesn't always have to be that deep. Okay, sir. I just looked at him. I'm not going to respond to that. Don't get mad at me because you don't know how to trust your intuition, honestly. But like I'm saying, for me, I've got some physical things to work on. He's got some spiritual things to work on. I think in terms of the mental aspect of it, he and I are both fine, but we both have things that we need to work on that need to be stronger. And it seems like for a lot of people that are still on this journey, these aspects where their weaknesses are not, the transformation hasn't happened in these areas. And the transformation needs to happen in order to come into full physical embodiment if that's what you want. But regardless of if you want full physical embodiment with your twin or not, like, you would think that you'd want to work on these things and make them better. Yeah, the transformation needs to happen in order to have a new beginning with these things. And so whether or not you like it, you have to work on these things if you want to have your twin. And that's it. That's literally, that is the key. And for me, like, not that it's scary, it's just something that's really annoying because it's something that I have avoided my whole life and I just don't like it. Because I feel like it limits me, when in actuality, I realize that it's actually not a limitation. It's actually freedom for me to be able to have a budget and stick to it, because then there's like less worries about certain things. But at the same time, I just don't like it, if I'm completely honest. All right, with this Page of Discs in reverse, another thing that, yeah, this is that energy that I'm saying I don't like it, like an unwillingness to learn, a new skill that is actually very important, that leads to becoming this King of Discs, to having this stability. There is an unwillingness to move with this here. And both of you guys need to get on the train to move and have the willingness to actually put in the work in these aspects that are holding you back in life. Like, I know now that I've had this download, I'm like, crap, I guess I need to do this today. So, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make a budget. And I'm also going to put out a business plan to better make my tarot stuff more consistent with this, so then I can get out of working in corporate and I can be authentically myself just doing tarot full time. Because in actuality, if I'm smart and playing my cards right, I know that I'm making a crap ton of money just doing tarot, but at the same time, I haven't gotten all the little things into place to where it wouldn't become a big mess because things aren't organized, and that's the reason why I haven't fully invested. And that's a me problem. And I know that with my twin, he hasn't fully gotten to the place of trusting his intuition, because if he trusts his intuition, then it's going to seem like things are falling apart in his life when actually things will be coming together. And that's a him problem. But it's like this unwillingness to move, to learn these new skills that are actually so important, that lead to full-on stability. And that's an active choice that we are deciding not to take. It's an active choice that we're both deciding not to take, that's keeping us away from this love, with this Lovers in reverse here. And so once you know that this is something, there are things that you need to work on, and you decide that you don't want to do them, then that's an active choice that you're doing to keep away from your twin flame. And so that's something you need to consider. With this Three of Cups here, it is like, for some reason, when this Three of Cups has been coming up in readings for me lately, this is very much like either you and your twin and God, or you, God, and your spirit team. And this is very much you, God, your spirit team. Like, you need to just pray about it. You need to ask for assistance. Your angels can't intercede without you asking first. And so you need to ask for assistance to give you the motivation to do the things that you don't want to do, to learn the skills that you don't yet have intact. Because as long as you're not doing these things, there's always going to be this feeling of lack that you have in your life. And the thing of it is like, you can feel lack while also having a lot of material wealth. You can feel lack while also having a lot of spiritual wealth. And it's going to feel like you're lacking something because there is this lack of balance in this one area of your life that you need to take care of. Lack of balance with this Two of Discs in reverse. What were they saying? It's like I'm psychic or something. There's a lack of balance in this area of your life that you need to take care of. And until that area comes into balance, then this Nine of Discs is not going to be upright. You're not going to be feeling this abundance independently. It is a feeling of abundance independently that you need to have with or without your twin. And the reason why the feeling of abundance independently with or without your twin needs to happen, because there might be times when you guys can't be together, and you have to be good either way. You can't put that burden on your twin to make sure that you're all right. And this is the reason why twins have to separate in order to come together, because they have to be good either way, with or without each other. This Ace of Wands in reverse is just like, literally, this is just spirit just being fresh, honestly. They're like, this is the information that a lot of people just don't want to hear right now. Nobody wants to hear this because nobody wants to put in the work for this. Because this is the hard part. The hard part is working on your areas that you don't have strength in. The hard part is recognizing that nobody's going to save you except for yourself. And that includes really paying attention to the areas of your life that you don't have strength in. And the thing of it is that those areas of your life may not even be associated with trauma. They could be associated with trauma, but they may not be associated with trauma. They just may be associated with things like, you're just like, this makes me uncomfortable and I don't want to do it. But the thing of it is that nobody wants to do anything that makes them uncomfortable, but you have to be uncomfortable to grow. People don't get growing pains when they're growing taller. Discomfort is a natural part of growth, and this is something that people need to realize, because right now, what I'm getting with this Wheel of Fortune, for whoever's coming across this reading, and you need to hear it, it is time. You are in the place where Spirit is saying it is time for these things to happen. It is time for you to work on those areas of weakness that you have within yourself. I'm very much getting that if you are coming across this reading and this reading really resonates with you, you are in a refining period of things. And that a lot of the karma has been cleared, a lot of the trauma has been healed, and you're trying to refine things. And you're like, well, what's missing? Like, why is this not happening? Well, it's not happening because you haven't gotten to the place where you're actually working on those things that were your weaknesses. And you have to find strength in that. With this Ace of Swords in reverse, it's like you weren't having clarity about why things weren't happening, but here's the clarity. You have the clarity now. And now that you know better, you have to do better. It's time to get to work on these things that are your weaknesses. It's time to get to the place where you won't hurt if your twin leaves and you're left alone, where you can be authentically yourself and be stable in life. This new beginning is beckoning you, but the transformation has to happen first. Collective, this is a reading that's just as much for me as it is for you, but I'm just being told that this message needs to go out to everybody, because this is something that is very important that people need to hear. Okay, with the Seven of Cups, I'm getting very much like it's going to be very easy to get distracted by other things that are around you. And in the past, these things that are your weaknesses, you've always found other things to distract you from doing this, or made excuses as to why you can't do this, or made excuses as to you know, just making excuses in general as to why you don't have time to invest in these areas of your weakness, or why it's not the time to do it, but it is the time to do it. And so, like, don't let these illusions take you away from doing the work that you know that you need to do. Because if the work doesn't happen, then you won't get that message that you've been waiting for. And it's like, do you want that message, or do you not want that message? Because the message is yours to have. And then you'll be left emotionally unstable. And at this point, it's going to be you hurting yourself. And that's the truth. Like, at this point, it's going to be you hurting yourself. You could have so easily pinned off all that pain of the twin flame journey onto your counterpart this entire time. But now it literally is all you. There's nothing else that you can point. Like, you literally could not find a place to point any fingers at your counterpart at this point besides on you. Like, you need to step out and do the work at this time. There's no excuses. It's time to step out. You are completely capable and prepared and ready to do the work that you need to do on this last aspect, because this new beginning is beckoning, but this is a place of transformation that needs to happen in those areas of weakness. And it's just like a little bit of refining. And the thing of it is, because I don't know how God works, and I don't know what God's timing looks like, but it could be, like, for me, although I don't know if this is the case. I think God is like, no, she actually needs to prove herself a little bit. But I don't know God. I don't know God. I don't know his heart. I don't know what the plan is there. But it might be something where it's like, okay, I do my budget and I need to be consistent in it for a full 30 days. So it's like locked into my system. Right? Like, I haven't even been posting on YouTube for a full 30 days. So, like, my ability to even, like, build my clientele with tarot has not reached fruition for me being on YouTube. Like, things of that nature. It's like there's a process to me getting to the point where I'm good. But for you, whatever your thing is that you have to strengthen within the physical realm or within the ethereal realm, like, it's like you have to do what you need to do. And it could be a very quick turnaround. You don't know. But just do it and stay consistent with it, and you'll be rewarded. The message that you're waiting for is going to come, but you have to step out and go down this path in order to get your new beginning, because it's coming. All right, this is the message that I have for you today. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Thanks for all the likes, the subscribes, the shares. I do appreciate it. Please never forget just how divine you are.